C305 just finished and DDP won as I predicted. Put 5 grand on him. And we don't know what to do with Adesanya. I mean, I'll be honest, Adesanya looked slow. He looked like he was on steroids. He looked like allegedly on steroids, I'll say. He looked like he was lethargic. His grappling defense was really bad. And DDP, the guy, I mean, has no technique, but he gets it done. He's a winner. He's, you could argue that he has one of the best resumes in the middleweight division now with Adesanya, Strickland, um, Brunson. His resume is up there, and he can go down maybe with a 1 or 2 fights. I saw Pereira just called him out. He could be one of the best middleweights ever. And that's crazy to say. I mean, he beat Robert Whitaker as well, and Darren. I guess Darren Till's not as that win has aged badly, but Robert Whitaker, great win. But anyways, I'm gonna break down the card starting from the first fight all the way to the main event. Let's get it started. First off, we have Jesus Aguilar versus Stuart Nickel. I had Stuart Nickel winning. I gave him out in a 5-team $20 to win $1.5 million parlay by submission. And he didn't get it done, but one of my 3 bets of this weekend was the fight not to go to distance. I liked his grappling. I liked Jesus Aguilar's willingness to stay on the ground and his stubby legs, which I ended up being correct. I mean, he did flatten him out a couple times, threw some hammer fists, threw some elbows, but he couldn't get the job done. And then he's so dumb. I mean, like, this is the IQ of fighters. Why do you just swan dive to the back? Why don't you just grab the hips, drag him back down, put a hook in after you grab his hips? It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. I don't know what Stuart Nickel was doing. He literally just swan dives over him, and then he gets back up. Jesus Aguilar has like a front headlock, and then turns into a guillotine, and with an arm in guillotine, and then takes out the arm, and it's just a regular guillotine. He won the fight. I mean, I don't think he was better. I think Stuart Nickel was better. He's a really good black belt, but I mean, I just think that had to be nerves for this first fight in the UFC's debut. So, I mean, great fight for as long as it lasted. I made, like, I think it was like 52.50 on it. It was plus 105 or something like that. And I put 5K on it. Next, we have Kenan Song versus Ricky Glenn. I'll be honest, both these guys should get cut. I mean, both these guys are just absolute garbage. I mean, I don't know how this is UFC caliber. The UFC, as Dana White always says, it's for the best. And if you are 30, let's see how old Ricky Glenn is. If you are 35 with a 3-fight losing streak, or 4 of his last 5 fights he's lost, he's fought 5 times in 6 years, I don't think you're considered the best anymore. And let's see his ranking on Tapology. He's the 138th current best MMA lightweight fighter. And he fought at welterweight today. So, how is this considered the best? Fighting the best. Kenan Song's one of the best now? Let's see him. Let's see his record. I think he beat Bedoya recently. But he's ranked 48th. Okay, I guess you can give him a little bit more leniency, but he's lost 3 of his last 4 as well. He lost to Max Griffin, who was basically a 155er. He beat... he knocked down Machado Gary. He beat Rolando Bedoya. Lost to Kevin Jousset. But, I mean, come on. Is this really a fight we want to watch in the UFC at 2024? Why can't we get some young guys in from, like, Cage Warriors or LFA? Or some of these Contender Series guys who clearly show potential, and Dana White goes, oh, you're not ready yet. But these guys are going to be not the best maybe, but have potential to be a contender. Someone that's not Kenan Song and Ricky Glenn. But anyways, Ricky Glenn, he had a good showing for the first like 10 seconds, and then Kenan Song kind of just outpowered him, outbodied him, outmanned him. And that's what it was. I mean, these guys aren't UFC caliber. I mean, I'd rather watch this on Lights Out FC, you know? Next, Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes. I mean, Alex Reyes, and again, another guy that shouldn't be in the UFC. Reyes shouldn't be in the UFC. Ricky Glenn shouldn't be in the UFC. Kenan Song shouldn't be in the UFC. Herbert Burns shouldn't be in the UFC. I mean, Tom Nolan, I mean, he barely should be in the UFC too. He's terrible. He's awful. He's really bad. Alex Reyes has fought like 3 times. Let me see, 2020. He's fought twice in the past 7 years. This guy's a part-time fighter. He's like, let me go fight on my off days. And that's what he is. And Tom Nolan, who we're supposed to think is a prospect in this division, in the lightweight division. I mean, he got dropped by Victor Martinez. He lost. He got out wrestled by Alex Reyes in the first 3 to 4 minutes. Is he really a contender? I mean, is he a minus 1,300 favorite even? No way. No, he's like, if I had to, when I watched this fight and I saw the line, after watching the fight, I think maybe a minus 300. 1,300, I expect you to Peyton Talbot, Giannis Gumori, whatever the guy's name is. Just freaking 1-2, starch him, and then fight over. But Tom Nolan got it done. I think it was like minus 310, under 1.5, and he couldn't even do that. And he went to decision. Decision probably had to be like plus like 600, 700. I mean, that's insane. Going with Alex Reyes in 2024 to a decision is like, yeah, maybe find a new career path. He's 6'3" at 155. They were like, he's rangy. I'm like, is he really rangy? He likes to brawl, and he throws wide hooks. He has a nice teep kick, I guess. Jab's really not that great. This and that. But anyways, I mean, this was low level MMA again. I think Jesus Aguilar was the only one that showed that, like, okay, maybe he has like good caliber skills for like the 125 division and like for the UFC the first 3 fights. Anyways, on to the next. Jack Jenkins, Herbert Burns. I bet on Herbert Burns first round because I'm like, yeah, I don't know if the talent that he is decent. I mean, he's beaten Nate Landwehr. He's had a couple wins in the UFC. He beat, I think, Evan Durham too. Evan Durham's kind of old at the time though. But I mean, he's beaten UFC caliber fighters. So I took him plus 1,800 first round, $500 for a stab. Didn't work out, obviously. I mean, the guy's a quitter. He has decent BJJ. I mean, his wrestling's whatever. Jack Jenkins too. Like, come on, bro. You throw a leg kick, you're hurting him to the leg, and you do not follow up. How do you hurt some guy to the leg and do not follow up? I don't understand. Jack Jenkins also hurt him to the body. He goes, let me go in his guard. Let me go try to kick his leg when he's on the ground. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, this, just fight. Just fight. But Jack Jenkins got it done. I mean, he has decent boxing. I like his boxing. Herbert Burns, I mean, he should be cut. I think he's lost like 3 or 4 in a row now. He lost to Daniel Pineda somehow. And then he lost also to, I think, Julio Arce, yeah, he's lost 4 straight. Yeah, it's time for him to get out the UFC. He's 36 years old. There's no point for him in the UFC anymore. So I took Casey O'Neill, but I didn't take it for a lot. I took it for like, I think $350. But Casey O'Neill, I mean, this is literally the most recency bias play in history. I mean, even if Casey O'Neill didn't win, you still have to bet on her just on value because Luana Santos, everybody sees her shaking her ass on OnlyFans, and everybody sees, if you subscribe, everybody sees her. She just beat Maria Agapova, that meth head who literally is just bad at fighting. But like Casey O'Neill fought Jennifer Maia. She lost to Ariana Lipsky, but I mean, she's like a decent fighter. She's coming off an injury. I heard she moved to Fight Ready as well, so she's obviously taking her career seriously while Luana Santos is shaking her ass for OnlyFans. Took a fight after a month. These girls, you have to understand about these OnlyFans women's MMA fighters. They take fights not because they're ready and they think they're going to win a fight. They take fights because their name is on the card and their name is brought up in stuff like this, YouTube videos. So people look her up and like, oh yeah, she's pretty decently cute. Oh wait, she has an OnlyFans? That's what they do. Excuse me. They don't try to win fights. I mean, obviously they try to win fights, but they don't have a game plan. So Luana Santos literally came out there. She was like, oh, hopefully I win. I'm going to shake my ass, hopefully. But Casey O'Neill won. I mean, and then outboxed her, outclassed her. I don't know if she might have had better BJJ. I mean, she was hip to the hip toss, no pun intended. So I mean, every time Luana Santos went for that judo throw, Casey O'Neill sat back, anchored down, and put her hooks in for the to the back and got it. But yeah, a good fight for Casey O'Neill. She should look to maybe get a ranked matchup next. Next, I mean, let's talk about fight IQ. People that shouldn't be able to fight. These guys, honestly, in MMA, need to take Wonderlic test. They need to take They need to take IQ tests to see how high their IQ is because their IQ is god awful. I honestly don't know what Josh Kulabau is doing. What is Josh Kulabau doing? He hurts the guy in the first round to the leg. He falls down. He slips. Whatever. Slips on banana peel. This guy. Ricardo Ramos takes his back, almost chokes him out. I had Josh Kulabau for $5,000. It was one of my 3 bets. My first one was Aguilar nickel inside distance, fight to finish inside the distance, and then my other one was Kulabau money line. Kulabau, I was like, okay, sweet, didn't get choked out. What a tough guy, man. All right, finish in the second round. Just leg kick him like 7 times, and this fight's over. Maybe 3 times, fight's over. This absolute moron, pussy, bitch, literally just leg kicked him and then pranced around him for like a minute, let him recover. Like, what are you doing? Ask him to stand up. Did Herbert Burns, did you not watch that fight in the back? When people are done with leg kicks, just ask them to stand back up. They'll quit or they'll just be badly hurt. And this idiot doesn't even believe he's good enough to finish a wounded Ricardo Ramos on the feet because that's basically what it was. Why are you not asking him to stand up? Why are you not kicking his leg again? In the third round, even at that second round, I'm like, all right, whatever. Maybe that was a 10-8. Maybe that was a 10-9. I think he lost the first round, so it's probably either 19-19 or 19-18. Kulabau. But I'm like, all right, this guy won't be dumb. And this guy doesn't even kick his leg in the third round. He doesn't kick his leg. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just kick his leg. Are you like retarded or stupid? Like, maybe I shouldn't say retarded on YouTube. All right, sorry. Are you stupid? Are you dumb or stupid? Because that's the only 2 ways that make sense of why you didn't kick this guy's leg. Ricardo Ramos was basically asking for a beating. And Ricardo Ramos was outboxing him in the third round. I don't know what Kulabau was doing. And then Kulabau went, and then Ricardo Ramos took him down or whatever. He was on the ground. And then I'm like, bro, did this guy really just fumble this fight? I think he was like a minus like 2,800 favorite after the second round. And I'm like, this guy literally just fumbled this fight. But I lost $5,000 on it. I mean, I hate Kulabau. I'll never bet on him again. The guy's a fucking clown. If I now have to realize that if I'm betting these moneyline fighters, I have to watch whether the heart is. I need to see their Instagram. I need to see like what they're doing because if their heart's not in it, I don't know what the hell's in it. You know? How much will I bet $5,000 on some dude if this guy's not even like paying attention and dicking around? You ever see Alex Pereira do a spin like a dreidel or like a ballerina? Have you seen Alex Pereira do that? John Jones do that? Brock Lesnar do that? Conor McGregor do that? Habib do that? You see any of these guys do that? No. This is why he's low level MMA. This is like low tier MMA. He should be cut. I hate him. I want him cut from the organization. Next, because I chased, I took Walter Walker. So I lost $5,000 on Kulabau. I was like, all right. I had a $350 bet on Walter Walker. So I was like, frick, what do I do? I'm like, golly. I'm like, maybe I'll put $700 more on it. So I put $650. So I had $1,000 on it total. $1,000. I think it was $1,000 on plus 105 to win $1,050. And I was getting nervous. I was nervous. This dude got absolutely cracked in the first round. In the first round, he got absolutely cracked. I think that Walter Walker then got a takedown. Oh, no, actually, he had a beautiful takedown. He went from a single leg to a double and changed the angle and got a takedown. And then he like rode out the round Dagestani style because I guess he's like a fake Dagestani. Walter Walker Rov. He's a fake Dagestani, and he doesn't ever go to mount. He just stays in half guard. He just stays in Tafa's half guard, even though Tafa's like basically giving him mount. And because I mean, you have to understand, Tafa, like, he literally said he went to MMA because kickboxing has no money, and he went to MMA so like and only like was training for 3 months in MMA before his UFC debut. So, excuse me, Vulture Walker goes for a heel hook. I thought I was watching the Craig Jones Invitational. This dude went for a heel hook, and then Tafa like yelps like ah, and then was like, I didn't tap. That's literally the definition of verbal submission. You can't just scream in agony and pain that loud where I can hear it from my house to and then say, "Oh yeah, I didn't submit," and then slap Vulture Walker in the face. There was like an altercation. I don't know what we're talking about. Vulture Walker, he cut a mean promo. I'm not gonna lie, he cut a mean promo. He goes, "I want your brother, Tafa. I want your brother." Mean promo. Respect him. Honestly, I think he's a good fighter. He just needs to work on the hands a little better. He looked in way better shape than what he did versus Lucas Bresky too. That's another thing. He looked in way better shape. Next, on to the main card: Carlos Paredes versus Jiang Liang Li. Or Li Jiangling, whatever his name is, Lee. Carlos Paredes is legit, man. I mean, he has an awkward style. He kind of has like a more technical Yuri Prohashka style, hands down. He like goes in like a, you know, like that guy Water Noose or whatever his name is from Monsters Inc. Like the way he like spider crawls or whatever he was. That's what he goes in. It reminds me of, and that's what Carlos Paredes is good at. And Carlos Paredes, he throws crazy amount of power on his shots, and he throws a lot of straight punches, which you like. And he literally, I think that's like his third walk-off KO in the UFC. I think Trevin Giles and Radke, and then Lee. But yeah, Lee's a solid fighter. I mean, that's a great win. Even though Lee had back surgery, I kind of felt bad because he had back surgery, and this is kind of a hard fight for him to come back to. But it was a great fight. I mean, I think Carlos Paredes is legit. I mean, the guy he needs a ranked opponent, and I'll make a Sunday matchmaking video for you guys later on. But Carlos Paredes looks legit. I mean, he could be a serious contender. Maybe we need to see him obviously on his back and his BJJ and his grappling, but he looks like a contender to me. Rosenstruik versus Tuivasa. Dude, look at this. You want to see an absolute snag? This is why I do these plus money. This is why I do these plus money plays. Look at these. Look at these absolute snags I had. Where is it at? Here it is. Sorry about this, guys. Look at that. So I bet on all these 5 plays. I don't know if you can read that. Rosenstruik 500 to win 37.50 on decision. You have to understand, this was like the most obvious plus 750, plus 800 play ever. Rosenstruik is a counterpuncher. Tuivasa is a counterpuncher. These guys are just going to stand at each other and they're not going to swing. And Rosenstruik 30-27 on my scorebook, on my scorecard. He was 30-27. Some judge gave Tuivasa 30-27, which is an actual rigged scorecard. I mean, imagine all those minus 3.5 Rosenstruik people. Like, that's actually sickening. That was literally the most clear 30-27 fight I've ever seen in my life. Rosenstruik was picking him apart. The jab was killing him. Tuivasa, I think, landed 14 significant strikes, like in the third, like by the end, towards the end of the third round. He had only had 14 the whole fight. But wow, I'm burping a lot. Sorry about that. Tuivasa, I mean, where do you go with him now? I mean, I don't know. I'll figure that out when I look at more of the rankings and the current fights. But yeah, Tai Tuivasa, I mean, the guy's technique was just lacking. He tried to make it a kickboxing match with Rosenstruik, and Rosenstruik's just a better, more technical kickboxer. But yeah, it was a good fight. Another play that I had $500 on. I had 5. I sent out a 5. I didn't send out. I had a 5 play parlay, $20 to win 1.5 mil. And one of my plays was the Jair Rosenstruik to win by decision. And then another play was Dan Hooker to win by submission. And honestly, that was a good bet. I mean, Dan Hooker went for like 5 guillotines. I thought he was gonna get it. I told you guys, this guy Dan Hooker, he doesn't go for he doesn't like wrestle. His wrestling is going for guillotines. So and Mateusz Gamrot shoots double legs. So it was a great bet. I respected it. I mean, and I would bet it again if they fought again. But I thought Hooker won. I mean, obviously I thought Hooker won too because it was in Australia and the crowd was going crazy. But Gamrot, you can't just wrestle and expect to win every fight, man. I mean, that's what it is. Like, if you can't hold people down, and Dominic Cruz might be the dumbest commentator ever. Gamrot holds people down. Did you watch the Dariush fight? The Saryukian fight? Fiziev got back up? Did you watch any of these fights? He doesn't hold anybody down. He over wrestles. That's his problem. He always over wrestles. Dan Hooker's not even a scrambler and he got up. Like, how? It's embarrassing. Mateusz Gamrot, I mean, you need to work on, like, go to like Dagestan, go to freaking Eagles MMA. Actually, you can't because there's the terrorist thing going on. But go to like Dagestan and train. Go with like Islam and train because you're not going to be a world championship contender in the next probably like 2 or 3 fights. So go train before because Islam's probably going to move up to 170 by then. Go train with them. Like, learn how to like sit in guard, sit in half guard, or sit in or sit in full guard, and don't let this guy give up his back and just let him back up on the cage. Like, put a hook in something. You saw DDP today. He puts a hook in right away. Boom, puts a hook. Fight over. Anyways, I took Dan Hooker by plus 2,000 by submission. Obviously didn't hit, but it was a good fight. I mean, it was a really entertaining fight. Next, Kai Kara France versus Steve Erceg. Dom Cruz, I mean, this guy was like, Steve Erceg's boxing is insane. This guy, like, he makes people miss by a centimeter. I'm like, yeah, he makes Matt Schnell, who is like this and looks like this when he fights. Like, you're not moving your head, dog. You're just moving your eyes. He does it against Matt Schnell. He's not doing it against Kai Kara France. And if you watch the regional scene, Steve Erceg got caught. I forgot against who. Let me look up against who. Steve Erceg got caught versus Cody Haddon, I think. He got caught with an overhand. And Kai Kara France doesn't mean overhand. That's all he throws. I mean, he's literally overhand left, overhand right. I mean, he switches stances to make his to throw an overhand left from southpaw. But all he throws is overhands, and that's literally Steve Erceg has tall man defense for that division. It's his problem, and he got knocked out. I mean, that's what it was. Kai Kara France, what a good comeback. I mean, let's be honest. Are these 3 guys on the sauce? All three of these guys, Hooker, Kai Kara France, and Adesanya, looked absolutely jacked. Excuse me. Are they on the sauce? I don't know. But great fight. I think Kai Kara France should look maybe for a number 1 contender fight again and then fight Pantoja or something afterwards. But it was a good fight. Next, my absolute king. Frozen like Elsa. Let it go. Do you want to build a snowman? My king, Dricus. This dude made Adesanya cry at the press conference and then tapped him out in the 4th round. Is that the most legendary thing ever? First of all, this dude's trash talk is amazing. Like, people don't get enough respect to his trash talk. When he said, I may be African, but I'm no brother of yours, son. Bar. Absolute bar. Freaking put that in a Drake lyric or like a Tyga lyric or something. Bar. Dricus made Adesanya cry in the press conference. Because Adesanya wanted to make everybody believe that he was poor. And then he beat his ass. You have to understand, Adesanya, this dude's boxing is really bad. His boxing is so bad. I just watched like a TikTok video of a boxing fight he had with some scrub, and his boxing is awful. He thinks he's slick. He has like that Kennedy and Chukwu Matt Schnell problem where like it works with Adesanya because obviously he's higher level and he's like actually a good striker, a good kickboxer, and he has like a lot of range. But like this thing when like they move their head like this, and I'm like, you're still there. I can still clip you. But anyways, I don't know. The Adesanya fight was great. I thought Du Plessis won the first round. People said Adesanya. I don't know how. Adesanya landed 2 body kicks and a body punch, and a knee. Okay, Du Plessis killed his leg, landed like multiple jabs. That Du Plessis blitz, dude, it's insane. I don't know how it works. Like step off, throw a left hook, something. It works, but Du Plessis he won the first round. I thought he won the second round. I thought he was up 2-0. Second round was obviously more clear than the first round. He took his back, and then he rushed the choke. He should have secured more position, and he looked a little gassed too. I'm not gonna lie, but when does Du Plessis not look gassed? I mean, the guy is he's like a habitual mouth breather in not in life, but in MMA. But I think he won I thought he won the second round. In the third round, I thought Izzy won the third round, even though DDP was coming storming back last a minute and a half. But the one thing Dominic Cruz said was correct was that DDP, if he's not going forward, he's not going to win. And thank God his corner said something too about it, because it's 100% the fact. Because DDP, his defensive striking is not as good, obviously, because he has a lot of flaws. Like, he overextends a lot. That's why, if a wrestler fought him, I think it would be really, really bad for him. But I think that, Derek Brunson took him down a couple times and mounted him, I think, and took his back. But, DDP, his issue is he overextends a lot, especially, and that's not great when you're moving backwards and striking. So I think that DDP has to work on that. But it works for him. So how he just beat Adesanya, Whitaker, and Strickland. That's 3 of the 3 former champions. I mean, this guy's in a Hall of Fame resume already. It's insane. And to think that he was losing a first round to Brad Tavares. But DDP, I thought he was up 2-1 in the third round, and then the fourth round I thought Adesanya started strong, and then DDP landed a nasty hook. And the thing is, Adesanya, every time he got hit, he wobbled. Every single time he got a jab, wobbled him. You saw the damage. You saw the damage, and he was getting visibly slower too. Adesanya was. I think that was the steroids, honestly, or let's say the Mexican sauce, because the guy looked like remember when Deontay Wilder fought in the second fight versus Tyson Fury when he was like 30 pounds heavier. That's kind of what Adesanya looked like when I watched him fight. His feints were good, but I mean, it's just he's old. He's 35 now. He doesn't care about fighting as much, obviously. And we don't know what's gonna happen with him next. But DDP, he won. He was a better fighter. I think that DDP, his next fight should be Strickland, but who knows? I mean, the UFC they love Hamzat. They're on his freaking nuts. So I think that Adesanya should retire, honestly. I think he should retire. What is he going to do? Be a contender again? I said that in my video my last video. So my videos 2 times ago. I said that, what is he going to do? He's going to retire probably. And I think he should retire. Because, I mean, is he going to be a contender? Was he going to move up 205, lose Alex Pereira again? So, great fight by DDP. All around, honestly, let me go back to this card. I say B-, but that championship fight was good. The Hooker fight versus Gamrot was good. Tuivasa, Rosenstrike was terrible. Paredes had a good performance. But yeah, I think it was a good fight. I think that everybody I mean, it was worth $79.99 to me, and everybody that I thought were gonna win besides Urseg. But I really didn't rate Urseg. It's I didn't want to bet on him, so it didn't matter. But besides Urseg, I think I guess Gamrot too. I thought Gamrot was going to win. He should have won. I think if it was an Apex, then he would have won. I mean, Dan Hooker got a bullshit decision versus Paul Felder too in Australia, so let's not forget that. But I think that Izzy should retire. I think Jesus Aguilar, Stuart Nickel was fine. I think Kenan Song, Ricky Glenn should retire. They retire. Ricky Glenn should retire. Alex Reyes should just stop fighting and just do his full-time job because obviously not fighting. Herbert Burns, you should just go teach BJJ. Luana Santos, go do OnlyFans, please. Kolobao should just quit his life. Or don't say, I don't, no, don't quit your life. Sorry. This is not I'm not saying that. Quit your life as an MMA fighter. Junior Tafa, don't slap people and don't yelp about a freaking heel hook and slap somebody at the ground. But yeah, anyways, it was a good card. Appreciate you guys for listening. This is my recap. Sorry, I was just freaking rambling on for the last like 2 minutes. I don't know what to say, but I'm just going to end it here.